I'm going to put one more little video we got to watch while I'm rolling this up. So here's the thing. Brass Tracks just rated us. Shout out to Brass Tracks. Zebra just gifted us up. Nick Infinite just gifted us up. Maniac with the fingers gifted us up. Shout out to y'all. Y'all ready for the most inspiring video of the night? I'm going to do it early. Fuck it. I was going to wait till later. Are y'all ready for the most inspiring video of the night? You ready for the most inspiring part of the stream? You ready for the most inspiring part of this whole stream? Ready? I found this video I love so damn much that I can't wait to show y'all. Do you remember when we watched Daniel Johnston? Or remember when I showed y'all Daniel Johnston and you guys went and watched it?
Yes.
I know some of y'all already knew about Daniel. I know some of y'all are already up on everything. But some people aren't. And whenever we had that stream and I showed people Daniel Johnston, or just told them how much I'm a big fan. Obviously, like, I have a Daniel painting in every room where I live. I have a Daniel sticker as the only sticker on my laptop. I got a Daniel doormat on one of the doors at my crib. Like, I have all types of fucking Daniel memorabilia and stuff because he's someone who's always just represented. Like, it's okay to be weird. It's okay to do your thing. It's okay to just be fucking different and not focused on everybody else. And he's kind of always meant that for me. But just like Zappa, there's a couple albums I really love by Daniel. Everybody loves the song like Story of an Artist. Everybody loves True Love Will Find You in the End. I know those are the classics, but there's only a couple albums I can listen to all the way through from Daniel that I really like. It's more about what he represents. And that's what this video is I'm about to show you. A lot of y'all are weirdos. And it's a good thing. A lot of you guys hit me up and say, Kenny, my music don't sound like anybody else. I'm scared to get feedback. I'm scared to put my shit out and they're not trying to be a dickhead like, oh, I'm so unique. They're just saying like, I think people are going to hate my shit because it's very different. And I think a lot of you guys like are so used to having to compete with Spotify algorithms and Instagram and all this shit now that like a lot of your favorite artists never had to compete with, that it's harder to be fucking weird. And it's harder to be truly fucking out there and unique because you get so much backlash until people start calling you a genius and start doing all this other shit. Think about anybody who you're a big fan of who gets considered like a real innovator, a real genius. Think about a Tyler. Think about whoever it is you guys are big fans of. All those people had to go through a whole bunch of people being like, what the fuck is this shit? What are y'all trying to do? Like, why is this important? Someone said I'm so weird, it's scary. That's why this is the best video of the whole stream tonight. I found this video, and it's basically about being a weirdo and being yourself and making music and how that makes you a true innovator. And that makes, no matter what you do, even if your music isn't the best per se, it doesn't mean you're not super fucking interesting. It doesn't mean you're not a fucking legend. It doesn't mean that just because certain things you make aren't for everybody or don't get critical acclaim or whatever the fuck it is, that doesn't mean it's not important to put it out there. Someone said, Kenny saw a picture of Kurt wearing a Daniel Johnston tee and snapped on Daniel Johnston merch. I wish it happened that way. My dad's a Daniel Johnston freak. But some of y'all are fucking weird, and I want you to stay that way, and I want you to know that it's better to be that way, and it's cooler to be a fucking weirdo than it is to be someone who does something that a lot of other people do well. So I think this video will really work for my chat specifically, and I know that you guys, a bunch of y'all have been in a creative slump recently, and a bunch of y'all have sent me messages talking about, man, I'm scared to put out my first music, Kenny. Everyone always comes in your stream saying, thank you for giving me the courage. Some people still don't have that courage because they know their shit is weird, and they know they don't look like everybody else, and they know they don't sound like everybody else, and they know that as soon as people see a picture of them, or as soon as people hear their voice, or as soon as people see them from behind their Twitch username, or from behind their computer, they're going to go, oh, this is weird. This person's not just normal and attractive making music that everybody likes. This person is very unlike anything else, and it scares people from doing their thing. And I want you to just know you're so much fucking cooler if you're weird, and you should do your damn thing. So I'm not going to be inspirational all night tonight. I plan on having a good time after I get really high and smoke this weed right here, but I'm still feeling inspirational. Weirdos in the chat, rise up. This one's for you.
I've been in a creative slump recently, but the thing that's been re-energizing my imagination and passion is one of the weirdest, most bizarre topics in all of music, which is also one of my favorite things to talk about, the concept of the outsider. For those who have never heard of outsider music, this is going to open your eyes to a whole new world. You think you know what music has to offer, but trust me, the stuff I'm going to show you today will give you a new understanding about art in general. That might sound pretentious.
It does, but he's not lying.
That I'm about to play is incredibly fascinating. You might get the urge to turn off the video.
My pal's name is Football, he always likes to roam.
But please stay with me. If you keep an open mind, I think you'll be just as excited about this stuff as I am. So that snippet was from a track.
Thank you so much, Lotta Lottie Dottie. Thank you, Maniac with the fingers. Thank you, Ask NB1. Thank you, Brash Tax for the raid. Thank you, Zebra. Thank you, Nick Infinite. If you are a fucking weirdo, just know that we love you here in the stream and we love you in the Discord. Stay fucking weird.
That might sound pretentious, and when I tell you that the song that I'm about to play is incredibly fascinating, you might get the urge to turn off the video.
My pal's name is Football, he always likes to roam.
But please stay with me. If you keep an open mind, I think you'll be just as excited about this stuff as I am. So that snippet was from a track called My Pal Foot by the Shags off of their 1969 album Philosophy of the World, and these three girls are a special, one-of-a-kind example of outsider music. I made a whole video about them a while back, but long story short, this guy went to a palm reader one time in the 60s. He was told that his daughters would become a popular band, so he took them out of school, sold a bunch of the family's belongings so he could buy them instruments, and without them really knowing how to play these instruments, he sent the girls to a recording studio, had them make an album, and of course, it sounds
Sounds like a lot of beats in the Discord is what it sounds like.
absolutely bonkers.
It's Halloween, it's time for scares, it's time for squeeze.
This is unlike anything you will ever hear. The vocals are awkward and uncomfortable, the guitars are grating, the drums are just kind of happening. I swear it's like she's trying her absolute best to not play along with everybody else. So, why is this one of Kurt Cobain and Frank Zappa's favorite albums of all time? Why is it regarded as one of the greatest indie rock albums ever, one of the greatest one-album wonders, and so on? It's because it is completely and utterly original and real. You could turn on any radio station right now, you could go to a record store, close your eyes, and pick anything on the shelf, you press shuffle on any playlist on Spotify, and you'll be listening to something that sounds like music you've heard before. The Shags and Philosophy of the World is the opposite of that. That's the point that I'm getting at here. Outsider music cannot be replicated. It's not weird for the sake of being weird. It's not somebody making a joke of a song. It's not music that just sucks. The musician
Is that a Paul brother?
is not trying to create outsider music. It just is whatever they make it, and that idea fascinates me to no end. In the age of the internet, record labels are perfect.
Wait, why y'all keep shouting out LP? Why do y'all keep shouting out LP in the chat?
The art of unoriginality. They use data to calculate what keys and chords make the biggest hits, what combination of features would make a song go viral, what the TikTok dance should look like, and so on and so on. So it is very, very
Tiny Tim!
refreshing to go down the outsider music rabbit hole every once in a while and find a new idiosyncratic artist to check out. Once you get past the vocals being out of tune, rhythms that will make you feel dizzy, and whatever else,
Oh, he was picking a record, sorry.
it's the innovation and sincerity that you'll fall in love with. Wesley Willis is a solid transition from the Shags because we can talk about the idea of exploitation. He was a singer and songwriter with schizophrenia who made a lot of music during his life. A good percentage of his songs all revolved around the same, very simple structure, and he would sing in this goofy, nasally voice while rambling on about whatever came to mind that day. So after hearing about these sisters who definitely faced abuse from their father, and Wesley who had serious mental health struggles, you might be wondering, isn't all of this kinda messed up in a way? Should we really be talking about this album where these kids were used for their dad's dreams of fame and notoriety? Doesn't it feel wrong and mean listening to this guy who had some problems clumsily singing about a vampire bat?
Vampire bat. Vampire bat.
Here's my thing. I'm not coming from a perspective of laughing at these people and what they made. I don't blame you if that's your first reaction. I would think that's the most normal reaction.
I don't blame you either.
Stuff that is so strange and unconventional. And I have no quarrel with anyone saying that this music is bad. I'm just hoping that after that initial response, you can marvel at how unique all of this is. I titled my video about the Shags the worst album ever made, but the point of that was to draw people in with the spectacle of, wow, compared to the standards of popular music, this sucks, but by the end of the video, I'm talking about how cool it is to hear clear, unadulterated creativity from kids. There's something beautiful and mesmerizing about hearing what these girls came up with. That's what art is all about. Expression and just making something. While, don't get me wrong, I do feel for them, and I'm sure growing up was traumatizing, they eventually saw how inspiring and influential their music was to people. The Shags have done reunion shows, and that is great. In their case, something wonderful came from this weird story and the darkness of their childhoods. So when certain critics talk about how it's mean to listen to Wesley Willis because he was an odd guy that had schizophrenia, I think making that comment is what's mean. This was a really interesting, funny guy that made songs about beating up Batman. He would lovingly greet his fans with a headbutt, and he himself talked about making music to help fight those demons in his head. Yeah, there are gonna be jerks and bullies that take one listen, make fun of him, and leave, but that shouldn't have stopped him from doing what he enjoyed doing, and it shouldn't stop his fans from finding joy and intrigue in what he made. When I'm telling you about these people who
The GOAT
are often very troubled and probably were the butt of the joke a lot of the time, that's not why I'm making this. It's because I'm captivated by these out-of-the-box human beings who are making music in their own one-of-a-kind way.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel too. This dude just keeps explaining how I feel. It's like, yeah, is it shocking when you hear rock and roll McDonald's? Do you want to laugh at first? Yeah. Is that someone who had a lot of mental health issues? Yeah. Did Daniel Johnston have a lot of mental health issues? Yeah. Did a bunch of these people in this video? Probably. But is it like an infatuation with these people because, oh, this is someone who's really struggling and is very weird and different, being funny? No, it's like because what he's saying, the music is truly unlike anything else that's ever been recorded. The fact that it's recorded is so fucking cool. And I hope you all just like see shit like this and have the balls to be like, fuck it. You know what I mean? I'm going to just make this song today. I'm going to put it out there, whatever the fuck.
Tiny Tim will be one of the more well-known outside
Let's go, Tiny Tim.
musicians that I mentioned here. This 6'1", hefty dude with long, messy hair and a generally ghoulish
Shout out Timber Music for the subs.
appearance would play the ukulele and sing in an astonishingly high falsetto. He had a bit of fame during the 60s when he made appearances in a few movies and talk shows, and he even got nominated for a Grammy for a children's album that he made.
Hey, I'm the real Tiny Tim. Stop playing with me.
He taught himself how to play guitar when he was 6. His previous stage names before Tiny Tim were Larry Love, the Singing Canary, and Sir Timothy Timms. He was a big fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and one time they brought him onto the ice before a charity event, and that was his first ever attempt at ice skating. There's plenty to talk about here, and I highly recommend reading more about him. BJ Snowden is a great example of how outsider musicians don't view themselves as outsider musicians.
I love BJ Snowden so much because BJ Snowden has so much fucking attitude. Hold on, watch.
Music teacher that wanted to be a pop star, and her song In Canada is probably her most well-known.
Canada, they treat you like a king.
During this track, she mentions various Canadian things and places, describing how when you're there, they make you feel like a queen. She's also recorded songs about Canadian provinces like New Brunswick.
Do we have any Canada in the chat? Shout out New Brunswick.
And
Shout out Newfoundland. Isn't that where fucking Maddie's from?
Newfoundland. But then she'll switch it up and make an EP about Daisuke Matsuzaka, who used to pitch for her beloved Red Sox.
Look like infant pride, you Daisuke Matsuzaka.
When music journalist Erwin Chussid was making the Outsider Music compilation Songs in the Key of Z, he asked BJ if In Canada could be featured. She responded with disgust because she said that everyone else on the compilation was terrible.
I fuck with BJ. She said they are not in my fucking league.
Making the Outsider Music compilation Songs in the Key of Z, he asked BJ if In Canada could be featured. She responded with disgust because she said that everyone else on the compilation was terrible, and she obviously thought that she was very good.
Talk to him, BJ. Talk to him.
But when she thought about how this could finally be her ticket to fame, she agreed and let him use her song. We've got Eiler Pillarm, the Swedish Elvis impersonator who looks and sounds nothing like Elvis Presley.
We need to look into him. Yeah, see, that's one person I need to know more about.
Impersonator who looks and sounds nothing like Elvis Presley. Louie Louie is the master.
Oh my god, Louie Louie is maybe my favorite one. Louie Louie is the original Russ. Watch this. Watch this. Louie Louie was Russ before Russ. Russ, my boy, you got your whole swag from this guy.
And behind 1974's Touchy, and he'll tell you that himself. Seriously. At the beginning of the song, there's this spoken word thing where he's telling you that he's the one that invented this song and dance, and he's about to play every instrument that you'll hear on the track. This instrumental is sometimes half decent and sometimes disturbing.
I made this recording all by myself. I play every instrument.
After getting injured...
Russ, you are not the first one, Russ. Russ, you are not the originator. Louie Louie is the originator. He did all that shit himself. You don't need a label. You don't need a producer.
Louie is the
This is the original Russ.
mastermind behind 1974's Touchy, and he'll tell you that himself. Seriously. At the beginning of the song, there's this spoken word thing where he's telling you that he's the one that invented this song and dance, and he's about to play every instrument that you'll hear on the track. This instrumental is sometimes half decent and sometimes disturbing.
I made this recording all by myself. I play every instrument.
After
Bro, it's Russ, dog. I love that so much.
getting injured at his job at the post office, Shuby Taylor got a
Someone said, is Kenny friends with Russ? I've never met Russ, but I have talked to Russ, and I will tell you, that is one of just the nicest, smartest people. It's just, you can hate on bro, you can meme bro, do whatever you want. He's selling more records than anybody that you like. He's making more money than anybody in rap music, and he's nice as fuck, and he supports a bunch of people that I know. He gave someone that I know, a really talented artist, 10 grand for no reason. It's a fact. So honestly, every time I talk to Russ, like, I'm always just gentlemanly back because he's a fucking gentleman. He's a nice dude. So that's the honest truth.
and was
I'm not going to, just because someone gets memed on the internet, I'm out to be like, oh yeah, fuck you, huh? Like, it's a nice dude.
able to fully commit to his dreams as a jazz musician. Shuby is, however, not your average musician. As the self-proclaimed human horn, he would try to sing, scat, and mimic the instrumentals of his favorite jazz recordings.
That's like unironically fire. It's just like a scat singing.
Gary Wilson is somebody that borders on outsider and a musician who is just very experimental. Before he even hit 3rd grade, he taught himself how to play guitar, bass, drums, piano, and cello. When he was 14, he got the chance to meet composer John Cage, who told him, if your art doesn't irritate people, you aren't doing your job. Gary definitely took this to heart because his live shows would eventually involve duct tape, bed sheets, fake blood, flour, and milk.
Sounds like a weekend at Eris's house.
His performances were so wild that the venues would cut the electricity to try and get him to leave. Gary is very
got him!
bending, and I'm pretty sure he's a genius, but boy, am I scared of
Eris watching the stream right now with his date, talking about...
I don't know where you've seen this information from, but it is inaccurate. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut this interview short. I'm going to have to cut this interview short.
And I couldn't make a video on this topic without mentioning R. Stevie Moore. This is the king of home recording. Especially during the pandemic, making music from your bedroom is the norm right now.
So they're saying R. Stevie Moore is the original Count.
And this guy has been doing it for half a century. It's worth noting that a bunch of the weirdos that I've talked about today are so influential for how music has progressed over the years. Whether or not they get the credit they deserve, they're the ones that are bold enough to try anything and everything.
People always come to me about their inhibitions, but there's no solution at all.
So, we've talked about some peculiar people today. Some make music that isn't exactly great, but it's intriguing. Some make music that's pretty good, but admittedly niche. But I want to end this video by telling you about who I think is the best representation of outsider music.
You know who it is. Because I made y'all watch the documentary like 6 damn months ago.
Daniel Johnston. I don't want to go too in-depth here because the whole point of this is for you to explore this world of unique musicians, but Daniel is very special to me and this culture, if you will. He checks all the boxes of what you might come to expect from outsider music. Lo-fi self-taped recordings, a huge messy collection of EPs and albums in the discography, a passion for different forms
God, he's the best.
of art, recognition from some very important names in the
Somebody in the chat said Kenny saw this picture and started buying Daniel Johnston merch.
industry, and sadly,
Never been a big Nirvana fan. I hate to say it. I respect Kurt Cobain. Just never been a big Nirvana fan.
very serious struggles with mental illness as well. The thing that people always say about Daniel's songwriting is that it feels childlike. There's an innocence with him that you can't really find anywhere else. He was a troubled soul that wrote strange, direct, intimate songs that connected with so many people. Life in Vain is definitely one of the best songs to help introduce someone to Daniel's work. This album was recorded soon after he got signed, so the production value is a big step up from the home recordings on his boombox. There are these beautiful sweeping strings on this serene instrumental, but the lyrics are a total punch in the gut. This is a prime example of how effective straightforward lyrics can be.
Hey, everybody telling me yikes in the chat because there's one band that I don't like. How about the person in the chat who just said Alice in Chains greater than Nirvana? If y'all want someone to hate on, you got someone to hate on right there in your chat. Don't put it on me.
On Deviltown, we get this haunting a cappella track that will leave you speechless. Daniel struggled with manic depression, and his songs often reflected that. A lot of his tracks detailed his own symbolic battle of good versus evil. And all my friends were vampires, didn't know they were vampires. Turns out I was a vampire myself in the Devil Town.
I was a vampire myself in the Devil Town.
Vamp Anthem. Join the Discord right now. Join the Discord right now if you haven't. I was a vampire too. So was my whole Discord. Real vamp shit. Daniel Johnston, the original King Vamp. LMOB just gifted 5 subs. Thank you so much, LMO. If you just got gifted 5, or if you just got gifted one of those 5 subs, please say thank you. Please go get some free shit.
Back you go, the more lo-fi the sound is. Casper the Friendly Ghost is among Daniel's most famous, yet least accessible songs. As he incessantly bangs on his keyboard, we get these very amateur vocals using Casper the Friendly Ghost as an allegory for Daniel's feelings of loneliness.
Casper the Friendly Ghost.
But over time, Daniel's signature song became True Love Will Find You in the End.
I feel like Story of an Artist is the signature one, though. Spencer Carlson Music gifted 5 subs. Maybe that's just because of the documentary.
If there was ever going to be a theme song for outsider music as a whole, I'd pick this. It's touching, relatable, and it almost seems too pure for this world.
LMO Beats gifted 5 more subs!
True love will find you in the end.
So with this video, I implore you to explore this beautifully strange world of outsider music. Look into Daniel Johnston, read about his upbringing, his collaborations over the years, all the unbelievable stories, and so on. There are plenty of musicians that I didn't go over that have their own engaging quirks and backstories too. Like I said, whenever I'm in a creative slump, this is the kind of stuff that I turn to, and it really helps me. I hope it can do the same for you. Thank you for watching that video.
Shout out to this dude. Really good, really good, really good, really good. Really good. Thank you everybody who was gifting subs during that. I hope anybody was inspired by that. Oh wow, that's a good example. You know who's another good version of outsider music who we've supported on the stream before? Oh man, hold on, hold on. Let's go!